Let's talk about trust. What if an application you installed, one you trusted, was secretly modifying every single browser on your machine? Well, that is exactly what we're breaking down today. We're looking at a silent installation by Anthropic's Claude Desktop app that created a hidden, high-privilege bridge straight to the web. Let's follow the evidence. This really gets to the heart of a core promise in software. You install an app, and you expect it to stay in its own sandbox, right? To mind its own business. But what happens when that app starts quietly, rewriting the configuration files of other applications, apps from totally different companies, and it never even asks you for permission? So in this breakdown, we're going to follow the digital breadcrumbs. It all starts with the discovery of one single file that was completely out of place. From there, we'll deconstruct the powerful mechanism it enables, and then, and this is the important part, we'll analyze the massive security implications this creates for anyone who's ever run the Claude Desktop app. Okay, so our investigation kicks off where all the best security audits do, with a tiny little anomaly. A file that it shouldn't have been where it was found. So picture this. An engineer is just debugging their own project, and they happen to poke around inside Brave browser's native messaging hosts directory. And sitting right there is a JSON manifest file from Anthropic. Now, for any developer, for any system architect listening, this is a huge flashing red flag. Why on earth is one application writing its own config files into another, totally unrelated app's support folder? So let's pop the hood on this file. Two things just leap right off the page. First, you see that path directive? It's pointing directly to an executable binary, a helper app that's living inside the main Claude application bundle. And second, look at allowed_origins. That's a whitelist. It's a VIP list of specific Chrome extension IDs. So this file is basically a permission slip that's been left for the browser. It's essentially saying, hey browser, if one of these specific extensions ever comes knocking, you are authorized to run this local program. No questions asked. And that right there brings us to the mechanism itself. This isn't just some innocent config file. It is the key that unlocks a very, very powerful piece of tech called a native messaging bridge. So here's the critical thing to understand. Browsers are sandboxed for a very good reason. It is a fundamental security boundary. Native messaging is an official Google-sanctioned way for an extension to punch a hole in that sandbox and talk directly to a local app. And that helper app, it runs with the full permissions of you, the logged-in user. It can read your files, it can launch other programs, it can talk to the OS. It is an incredibly powerful and privileged position to be in. And the way this all goes down is just dangerously simple. A whitelisted browser extension makes a single API call. Your browser checks its directory, it finds Anthropic's manifest file, and then, with zero user prompt, no dialog box, nothing, it executes that helper binary. And just like that, the sandbox is gone. All right, so we've got the what and we've got the how. Now, let's dig into the forensic proof. Let's see how we know this was a deliberate, widespread, and persistent action by the Claude application itself. This right here is the smoking gun. If you dig into Claude's own application logs, you find these explicit entries. The log states, plain as day, that some subsystem called the Chrome extension MCP has installed native host manifest for Brave, for Chrome, for Edge. It just lists them out. I mean, there is zero ambiguity here. The app is literally logging its own bad behavior. And this little table just beautifully illustrates the scale of this thing. The audit turned up 7 identical manifests, targeting a whole suite of Chromium browsers. And get this, it was targeting browsers that weren't even installed on the machine. The application proactively goes out, creates the directories if they don't exist, and then plants the file. And with 31 separate installation events found on the logs, yeah, this wasn't a one-and-done thing. The app just keeps reinstalling this bridge over and over. Now, just to be sure this wasn't some kind of rogue component or malware, a code signature check was done on that little helper binary. The result? It's completely conclusive. It's signed with Anthropic's official Apple developer ID. This is a first-party binary shipped and vouched for by Anthropic themselves. And finally, we have the ultimate piece of proof, the one you just can't argue with. Modern macOS keeps this secure, unforgeable little piece of metadata on files called com.apple.provenance. It records exactly which application created which file. And when you check the metadata on those browser manifests and on Claude's own log file, you get an identical signature. The operating system itself is testifying that Claude.app is the process that wrote these files. Case closed. So now that we've established the facts beyond a shadow of a doubt, let's talk about what this really means from a security architecture point of view. Because this isn't just some sloppy design choice. This is the creation of a massive, latent security risk on every machine it touches. Okay, it's time for our neural signal check. Here's why this matters at a deep, technical level. The argument that it's not doing anything bad right now is completely irrelevant to any serious engineer. Dormant capability is not safe capability. By pre-staging this incredibly privileged bridge, the system just shreds the principle of least privilege. And, maybe even worse, it completely inverts the browser's trust model. You, the user, chose a specific browser like Brave for its security features, and now some other app has just come along and silently undermined that choice. And look, this isn't some abstract threat. We can ground this in data from Anthropic's own blog post when they announced this feature. They admit that before they put mitigations in place, the extension was vulnerable to prompt injection with a 23.6% success rate. And even with their fixes, it's still at 11.2%. Think about that. A 1 in 10 success rate for an attack that now has a direct pre-installed pipeline to a native binary running outside the sandbox. That is a significant risk. So what could a compromise of this bridge actually let an attacker do? Well, Anthropic's own documentation lists it all out. Access any site you're already logged into, read the entire state of any web page, automate form filling, and yes, that includes password fields, and even record your screen. The potential for data exfiltration here is just enormous. So what would a trustworthy architecture have looked like? Right? How could they have built this without just shattering user trust and creating this massive unnecessary attack surface? Well, the difference between what Anthropic did and what's considered industry best practice is, well, it's stark. Instead of a silent push on install, you ask the user on first use, a pull model. Instead of spraying your config file across every browser you can imagine, you scope the install only to the browser the user is actually trying to integrate with. You put the integration in a settings panel so the user can see it and, more importantly, revoke it. And for goodness sake, you respect the user's choice. If they remove it, you don't just reinstall it every time the app launches. This isn't rocket science. It's just standard, respectful software design. And that really brings us to the final and most crucial takeaway for all of us. This whole thing isn't just about one app making a bad decision. It's a powerful lesson in system design and trust. Every single application we build has boundaries. And the question we have to ask ourselves as architects and engineers is this: are those boundaries explicit and are they respected? Or in our rush to build some seamless user experience, have we accidentally shipped a dormant, undocumented bridge of our own, just sitting there, waiting for the wrong signal to wake it up?